everyone, welcome to the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. And I am so excited to be back after the most boring 4 weeks of my life without GPVWC here. It's been sad, but now we're back and we're ready to go. And I'm joined by Alex Foulkes, and all is well with the world.
I'm not sure that's what you told me before we started, Toby.
No. Keep up the bit. Are you not excited to be back, Alex?
Oh, absolutely. 4 weeks about spending one of the Tuesdays in those each of those 2 week groups was incredibly boring, but we are back at one of the circuits of all time, not known for its particularly incredible racing, but an exciting track to drive more so than to watch. We've got a couple of straights for overtaking. We've got Parabolica and the Turn 1 chicane, which with Formula Sprint 2 should be nicely chaotic for us. And we should have a good bit of enjoyment today, Toby.
Absolutely. It's one of my favourite tracks on the map. It's on the map. On the map. What I was going to say is it's one of those ones I don't have to have a track map open to tell you the names of all the corners, which is nice. So it's going to be fun, and it's going to be a slipstream battle. We know how strong the draft is. I imagine this is going to be one of those chaotic races that we've had, like at Spa when they were swapping down the back straight every single lap for the lead. It's nice to get another one of those. So I'm looking forward to it.
It is one of the slipstream important tracks, and it's going to be the highest straight line speed we'll have. So potentially qualifying might not matter as much here as it has with other tracks, because of course you'll have the slipstream all the way down into turn 1 off the start, and then you have basically the entire track where it's not really downforce dependent. It's mostly medium speed corners, with the exception of maybe Oscari, which is slightly higher speed than medium, Parabolica, and of course the Curva Grande, which isn't really a corner anymore, even in FS2 cars. So yeah, it should be quite interesting. So I don't think pole, like I said this in Spa, I don't think pole is going to be the optimal position to be in after qualifying here.
No, well, it may be for the first run down to the chicane, but it's certainly one of those where it doesn't matter where you qualify really, as long as you're in that long train at the top of the pack, you can make your way through. I suspect there will be some tricks to maximize straight line speed potentially here as well. Whether people are running everyone will be running minimum wings, but will they be running different little setup options to maybe try and maximize their straight line speed? Running no toe, for example. Just to take a little bit out of the corners and put it back into straight line speed at 1 or 2 kilometers an hour could make all the difference today. We should talk about so there's track limits here today are not using the game, so it'll be a manual detection. That'll be fun for the disciplinary committee when they get their hands on a whole bunch of manual reports. It does mean that you might see cars leaving the track, completing a lap, and it's still counting in qualifying. If it gets reported, it will be able to be a penalty would be put against it. So we can watch drivers to complete their lap, and it will have to be one of their competitors who reports them. We are using the downloadable content version of Monza this year, so this is a laser scanned version of Monza. You can see the minor bumps that we get with the DLC track. It is an improvement from that point of view. Even though Chris Williamson did some magic work modifying the sort of mod version of the track for last year, we do now have the official laser scanned version, which is good. I think it's a good thing to be using the content that has been properly made for this game. So hopefully we get some more of that next year. I know there's a Bahrain out there that's a full laser scan version as well. For example, right, let's watch Junior Lopez on board from nose cam, which is nice, as we head down the start-finish straight and into the first chicane, the Variante de Rettifilo. And you've got to take a lot of curb here and get a good exit as we head towards Curva Grande, and that looked pretty good for the first time we've seen someone go through that chicane, wasn't it, Alex?
Yeah, it was actually relatively clean. Clipped the apex nicely on the initial turn in, and then had a nice run through the second part of the initial chicane. And as we head into the second chicane, Junior Lopez does set, according to the timing bar there, the fastest sector one. It's not true, but he is not that far from the best as we head through the Lesmos, not pushing quite as far out across that curb as he possibly could have. I think he's just setting a bit of a banker lap and sliding through the exit of Lesmo 2 onto the nice long straight, heading towards one of the most exciting corners of the track. Ascari down the hill, up from the compression, and turning in later on the brakes through this high-speed section, carries the speed nicely. He has set the fastest Sector 2, Junior Lopez, and those two purples could be potentially provisional pole here. All his competitors are about a tenth off in the second sector, so it's a nice run through that second sector for Junior Lopez. One more corner to go then through the Parabolica. Let's see. What will Junior Lopez get as he crosses the line? Tice Youngster sets the initial fastest time, but falls quite quickly. Philip Sabinski is the man to be replaced by Junior Lopez as he crosses the line only by 9 thousandths of a second.
Conspicuous in his absence is Sandeep Singh today. I can't see him at all in the server, so perhaps he's not racing. Scarpelli is back in the Potentia, I can see, and Josh Dexter in a Potentia as well today, so that's a factor. But Junior Lopez setting the bar for qualifying so far, and as you say, Chavinsky very, very close. Lap times will be close here come the end of the session, I would imagine, as Victor Bernat comes through the second Lesmo and out onto the back straight towards the Variante Ascari, taking the inside line for the shortest possible distance is Bernat, and he has done a competitive first sector, not a purple overall, even though it says it's a purple. It's a purple compared to the leader, but 6/10 lost through the middle sector, which is encompassed by the second chicane and the two Lesmos. So it's at the heart of the lap time here. So what can Bernat do as he comes towards the final corner? Will he get himself up into the top 10? He's certainly around 6/10 off right now. And if he gets a good final corner here, potentially he could get himself into the top 10. Can he do so for Freccianera? As he crosses the line, moves himself up into 14th position. His teammate Andrea Kanaya up there in 8th place. Here's Schlagi, and he is doing a very competitive lap, actually, as you can see from his sector splits. But Lopez off screen has gone even faster in the middle sector. Schlagi moving himself up to 5th. Lopez, though, crosses the line and improves with a 42.330. Actually says 329 on our timing system. Sometimes there's a rounding error one way or the other. Here's Kalea for Orbit, new to the championship, 22nd for him.
Yeah, I mean, Kasper Kuritz did sneak in up to 4th there. He did for just a couple of moments before Junior Lopez got that sort of massive improvement that he has now, 4 attempts from Philip Savinsky. Kasper Kuritz did have the provisional purple sector 2, but if we look at Justin van der Smissen, he has set the fastest sector 1 time by quite a margin. 2 attempts has been found by the VMS driver through that second Lesmo. Let's see if he keeps his pace through sector 2 as we go down the back straight towards the sector 2 line. We'll get a good idea of roughly where Justin van der Smissen is going to come out on this lap, and just at this bridge here we'll get an idea. He's 5 attempts down in that second sector, so he's had a monster sector 1 that could potentially bring him forward. I mean, he's got just about 3 attempts off the fastest time if we subtract that 2-tenth advantage he had in sector 1 from the loss in sector 2. That puts him currently at P2, but through one more corner, let's see, where can Justin van der Smissen go?
Whoa.
And nowhere. That was way too off the track to count as a completed lap, and he heads into the pit lane. Here's Christian Glansetter, who, according to the timing, lower third, has a purple first sector, touches the grass on the inside of the final corner, and about what's that lap as well. That seems to be the story right now as we watch Philip Savinsky start his lap.
I think Junior Lopez's first sector wasn't the best, is why you're seeing a lot of competitive purple first sectors on his provisional pole, but it was the middle sector where Lopez was really good and significantly faster than pretty much anything we've seen, actually. He must have really maximised it. It's also a sector that you could potentially cut through the second chicane. We didn't see the lap itself. I doubt he would have completed the lap that competitively if he'd done a cut through there, but he was a good 0.3 quicker than pretty much anyone in that middle sector, which is a very competitive situation to be in. As Chavinsky, although it says purple, as I say, that first sector wasn't the greatest from Lopez. Can Chavinsky respond though? He's coming through the second Lesmo now and onto the back straight, using too much entry, pushing himself onto the corrugated curb on the outside, and he has lost all momentum. This will not be a good second sector time.
Yeah, interestingly, Lopez with the second lowest speed trap speed out of all of the drivers, only beaten by Caroline Harvick, who seems to be running a relatively high downforce setup. But that sort of explains Junior Lopez's advantage in Sector 2, is that he has that downforce advantage to sort of work with the medium speed corners a bit better compared to everyone else that's running probably just about completely 0-0 wings. Junior Lopez has put on a bit of downforce and is able to find the time that he loses on the straight just in that Sector 2 alone. And Sai Shungstra moves up to 4th position. Here's David Yunt crossing the line, and he
P2.
moves up to P2. The two priority 1 cars, 2nd and 3rd, beaten only by Junior Lopez, and that's quite a nice and tidy lap from David Yunt there to get himself into P2.
I mean, they've obviously got something going on with their setup for them to be P2 and P3. They are obviously fairly experienced racers, especially David Yunt. He won't mind me saying that, but Chavinsky has been there or thereabouts this season anyway. So, but for them to be P2 and P3, that is definitely priority 1's best showing qualifying wise. As we watch Magnus Ockenhaug do the wall of death around the outside of Parabolica and come towards the start finish line, cuts the inside to minimise the track distance. 43.1 is not going to cut it, but he might just be starting one more lap. Let's see what he does, as Kurt Rotiav has gone almost 0.3 quicker in the first sector. And it's interesting to look at the top speeds. It looks like Junior Lopez is down on top speed, as you say, to the tune of almost 5 kilometers an hour to other people. So that will be interesting to see how that plays out in race when we get to the race, because of course if he does have much more downforce, he could be a sitting duck in the straights. Quite a competitive second sector for Kurt Rotiav though, and he's pretty much level par with Junior Lopez, and this is much more of a low downforce final sector as well. So can Kurt Rotiav get himself right into the mix here, Alex?
Absolutely, it's possible. I was looking at that second sector and thinking that is quite close to Junior Lopez as the other Cap Clay car moves up to P4 for now, but Kurt Rotiav towards the line, taking the shortest possible distance and only good enough for P3, clearly struggling in that final sector to keep the momentum he had in that second and first. But he does sort of split the priority 1 cars and will have a nice position on the starting grid if it stays as it is. Here's Orbit Motorsports, Euro Kalea down in 22nd. He's improving in the first and second sector. Let's see if he can improve on that 22nd position. Crossing the line, he does improve by 1 up to 21st, and every position matters, it has to be said, as we are watching all the drivers now come out for what can only be said to be their final stints.
Yes, I will say that we are missing quite a few drivers. We've only got 26 today, so there's quite a few missing, which is a shame. But you do get that sometimes at this stage of the season, and I think we're missing 6. Are we 6 drivers therefore? Yeah, 30.
Yes.
Yeah, 32 total. 16 teams in Formula Sprint 2. So yeah, it's a shame to see some of the teams not there today. I don't know if I can see there is one Venus car that I can see, so I'm missing one of those, and I Well, we'll have to come back to that, but here's Junior Lopez again, improving his first sector, but second sector a little bit down. I don't know, it might have been a small timing glitch where sometimes it gives you a faster sector and then compensates in the following sector, looking at these sector splits, because he's gone 2/10 slower, or almost 3 in the second sector, but a 10th faster in the first, unless he's changed his setup, of course. Front wing wise, at least. 42.6 for Lopez as he crosses the line. Who else is on a lap? I'm just looking at the timing sheets. I think pretty much everyone is either in the pit lane or on an out lap. David Yunt here, indeed, on an out lap. They're going for that final last hurrah, heroic run to see if they can pip some other drivers for that final lap.
It's Philip Savinsky, though, who is on a current lap, and through the second chicane, he's the fastest in Sector 1 so far, according to that graphic, which has failed us many times already today, but we'll take it for its word. Through the Lesmos goes Philip Savinsky, and not quite hitting the apex, but it's still quite fast through this double right-hander, and out wide. That lap is over for Philip Savinsky, and he might be able to go for one more if he has the fuel on board and is able to save the tires enough to keep that grip and probably sufficient heat through them as we head through the lap. I mean, it is saying that he's not that far down in the second sector. 1.3 tenths overall down on the best time on board with Philip Savinsky now as we head towards the final corner of the track. Potentially, he could still move up a couple of positions, but I'm not sure the lap will remain if he touched the gravel, and not that great through Parabolica for Philip Savinsky. He's possibly going to go for one more, though, if he has the fuel on board, and it's a 42.8 for Savinsky as he crosses the line, but he's got more fuel to do one more lap, Toby.
Yeah, I think you want to do 2 laps here. It's not particularly punishing on tyres as Stravinsky gets that first apex nicely. Let's have a look at David Yunt, see how he goes through the second chicane. I'd like to watch him on board, actually, because Yunt is one of those smooth drivers, gets the car rotated nicely as he comes towards that second chicane, bounces across some of the curb, doesn't take all of it, just a little bit of dirt on the outside, and he's already down in the first sector, so pushing very hard on this lap. He will not improve by the looks of this lap so far. He will definitely not improve now as he bins it on the exit of Lesmo 1. So lovely smooth style there from David as he goes straight into the barrier. Here's Stravinsky, who follows his teammate in not being able to improve on this lap. Who else is on the lap? Kanaya's just gone to P4.
Shalagi.
In fact, Shalagi's just gone to P2. So Kanaya down to 5th as we look down the timesheets. Tice Young's just done a personal best in the first sector. Here he comes across the second sector split. Not his best. Takes a little bit too much curb through the first part of Ascar. He's going to run very wide through the final part. This will not be an improvement for him, unfortunately. Who else can we see? Kasper Koritz is a little bit off it in the second sector, but and in fact so much so that has decided that he doesn't want to finish that lap. I think that might be it, you know. And indeed, Stravinsky's finished his efforts. That is it. Nobody else can improve. So Junior Lopez takes another pole position then for Scuderia Cap Clay. And that was a good lap in the end, wasn't it? Oh, in fact, he did slightly improve. Look at 0.258. It was a good lap initially with a 0.330. He would have had pole with either one of those. But Shalagi taking second for RNG. David Yunt taking third in the end for Priority 1 with Kurt Rotiav fourth. Kanaya did move up in the closing stages to 5th place with Stravinsky in 6th for the other Priority 1. Tuomala in the other Cap Clay in 7th. And then Juho Sopanen in 8th position with Thijs Youngstra 9th and David de Vree 10th, rounding out the top 10. 11th place went to Kasper Koritz with the Justin van der Smissen in 12th. Magnus Ockenhaug 13th position. Danny Robbins 14th. Domenico Scapelli at his home race in 15th place. Josh Dexter filling in for Singh in 16th. That was a mouthful. Johannes Lepitz 17th. Christian Glamsetter in 18th place with Victor Banat 19th and Mihajlo Vicentijevic in 20th. And the final 6 were Antonis Paparinopoulos, Kiri Kratovil. I should have practiced that before. James Knox in 23rd, Kalea in 24th, Ben Constantine from Expo in 25th, and Caroline Harvig in 26th position for Venus.
My question, Toby, is do you think the lack of attendance is to do with the DLC tracks? That's what I'm wondering, because
no,
missing quite a couple of people.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think it's more to do with what has been happening off track in FS2, and I think there's a few names that are missing potentially as a result of that. So yeah, it's tricky to know exactly any kind of reason for anything in life, but that's my reading on it. For example, we've got one RGS. There's no Pishkan today. There's only one RNG per youngster.
We have a reason in the VC with us right now as to why one car's missing. We have Remco.
Oh yes, Remco de Zeeuw was supposed to be racing today, but he's instead on cameras. I doubt he did any practice anyway. Who else are we missing? Who else are we missing? There's only one Blue Horns from those things.
Yeah, it's Remco. That was supposed to be in Blue Horns.
Oh, right. Well, you know.
One Academy car. I don't know if you said that.
Yeah. Is there even 2 Mapes foes? Oh, Danny Robbins is there.
Yeah. We're missing a Hunter Burton Academy, a Blue Horn
Academy, the Blue Horns.
We have both Excellions, yes.
We're missing an RGS.
Oh, we're not missing both an Academy.
You're just blind. Paparinopoulos and Kratovil.
It was different to what was on the spotted guide, to be fair.
Yeah, it's in fairness to us. Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, it wasn't. I'm lying.
Are you lying?
Maybe.
Sorry about the lying.
Wait. Okay, I don't have an excuse. Okay.
Well, it's warm-up time. It's time to stick a camera looking backwards on the car of Remco's choice. He did briefly have Shalanki, and then chose to go back to track cams. What should we talk about today? Well, I will say this. If you haven't already seen it, do take a little look at the podcast that we revealed yesterday. It's on the GPVWC YouTube page. Don't do it right now, of course. Stick around to watch the rest of this broadcast. Did you have a chance to watch the full podcast? I know you bullied me for looking like a chav in it, Alex, but other than clicking on it to look at me, what else did you watch the rest of it?
I just got that bit, and I sort of skimmed through it. Didn't really pay much attention to it.
Thanks. It's really sold it there for everybody.
Well, no, because I'm not particularly interested in what goes on in Super Lights and Super League. But if people are, I'm sure it was quite an interesting discussion that you had about it, because I did see the preparation that you did, and I saw everything that was going on there with your your team picking. I think that was... You spent about 20 minutes on that, Toby.
What do you mean I spent about 20 minutes on it?
I'm pretty sure you spent at least 20 minutes explaining your choices.
What's wrong with that? I mean, we had a nice time. It was good fun. It's been good fun every single podcast we've done, to be fair. So yeah, it's something we're going to continue doing. At least we've got one more post season 1 to do. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe they know they're on the broadcast. We're going to do one post season 1, rounding out the season itself. And there will be some fun stuff to do around the GPVWC day, which has also been announced. It'll be at Liverpool this year. Are you coming, Alex?
Yeah.
Excellent. That'll be fun.
Of course.
I think me and Tasha are probably going to go. So got to collect our championship award for winning the team's championship in Super League, haven't we? So.
Okay.
maybe we'll have a driver's title to pick up as well. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll run out of space for all these glass GPVWC trophies, to be fair, soon. Anyway.
That reminds me, I still haven't got my best livery certificate or like poster from last year's GPV day.
Oh, I'll make you one.
No, they still haven't sent it. We got the award and we didn't get the...
DM will.
Just with that.
Oh, well, you're never going to get it then, are you?
No.
Why? I haven't got my thing. What do I do about it? I'm just going to complain.
I'm just going to complain. Of course I am.
Yeah.
Why would I remove my right to complain by doing something about it?
Oh, Remco silently brought up the standings in the most passive-aggressive move I've ever seen. Remco, thank you for that. Sandeep Singh leads the championship but isn't here, so he's not going to score. He's going to score zilch, nil point for Sandeep today. So Junior Lopez could catch up, Matthew Maple said. Matthew Maple said in the YouTube chat, now all his rifles are banned, Junior can make a title comeback. I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah, we are missing Ben Skinner and Brody Lawless have both been banned. So those two you will not see again. Well, you might see Ben Skinner again in GPVWC. You definitely won't see Brody Lawless. James Knox has been competitive, but he is not so much today. He wasn't right in the top. Was he in the... Where was he in qualifying? I can't even remember.
Are you okay?
No. Where was he?
He was in a position.
No, you don't know either. James Knox was 23rd. Has he had some sort of penalty that we should talk about?
I think a lot of people have penalties. Still.
Yeah,
they're on the website. They should be.
Announcements. I suppose you can look that way, can't you, with your... James Knox, 10-second penalty for a collision with Junior Lopez. Fair enough, I remember that one. No, he hasn't got a great penalty, just not very good in qualifying today, which is unusual for James. Haruki Jr., who you might have seen us talk about 4 weeks ago, was disqualified from both races. Driver is found guilty of having another driver race under his name, was the official decision for that. Yeah, so basically he loaned his account out to someone else and thus got disqualified from both races. So we won't be seeing him again. But yeah, it's hopefully we've got past the nonsense phase in Formula Sprint 2, and hopefully we can have a good end to the season, at least from a broadcast point of view.
Do you want to say anything that could possibly summon more chaos?
No. I will tell you this. Luke Mitchell in the YouTube chat said, Toby, tell everyone from experience how you get a really good start at Monza and FS2. He's saying that in a very mean way, because in 2022 I won race 1, and then in a one-off race I was doing, and then subsequently stalled in race 2 and got smashed into and ended 2 people's races at once then, so not ideal. I mean, suboptimal for sure. I don't know how to get a good start.
Full throttle and dump the clutch. Nothing's ever gone wrong there. Do you even have enough torque in the FS2 car to wheel spin off the line?
Couldn't tell you this season.
We don't, so we could just literally full throttle it and dump the clutch and be fine. Oh, right. Well. That's how you get a good start then. Just absolutely pin it. You'll be perfectly fine. Well, if we think back to the history of FS2, just about most of the major incidents have happened at Monza, it feels like.
Yeah, we had
2023.
Yeah, we had someone disqualified, didn't we, for deliberately
Last year.
taking someone out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a fun little track. One of the most historic in well, at least in F1 terms. It's up there with Spa and Silverstone. I think
We should race in the historic layout, really. The
historic Monza layout, what, with the banking?
without just the inner ring where there's no chicanes. Ascari is just a flat out run, and the only two real corners are the Lesmos.
Yeah,
That's what we should run.
there's still an option to take the first chicane out, so you can still run that. I think they do that in some historic races, but
Isn't that the endurance layout as well? I think they.
yeah. But Curva Grande used to be a frightening corner back in the day. But there's a film actually, which so it's called Grand Prix. I think it's from 1966. It's a movie. It's worth watching it for the car scenes. The story, not so much, but it's there. It could also be half an hour shorter, but definitely worth a watch because the cinematography for the racing is just phenomenal. So yeah, give that a go if you haven't already.
What he's telling you is go watch clips of the racing from that movie and don't watch the actual movie. Is what
I mean, kind of, yeah, but I mean the clips from the races also make more sense and mean more when you watch the whole film. It's just that the kind of like subplots are a bit kind of dribbly, very of their time as well. So yeah.
I think that's what the Race of Champions should be, though. Just 1966 Monza.
I think we should do an end of season 2.4 hours of Le Mans. And each...
Why don't we do the full 24?
No, because ain't nobody got time for that. Also because there'll be about 5 cars left after about 8 hours, so...
8 is... That's ambitious.
Yeah, so if we did a 2.4 hours of Le Mans, I think you could do 1 car per team and have your 2 drivers from the season driving it. And you could have multi-cast racing then as well. You could have Super League, Super Lights, FS1, FS2.
Oh my
That would be sick.
goodness. Could you imagine?
Do you know what I'm saying? So you have...
The Super Lights car through, like, the first couple of corners would absolutely just demolish a Formula Sprint 2, but if it gets in the way, the crash that would occur there would be monumental.
It's no different to actual Le Mans, really. It's just they obviously these days they have 3 classes, but they used to have 4. LMP1, LMP2, GT1, GT2.
And no offense to the FS2 drivers, but the GT3 drivers are a bit...
Can you imagine that, though? 2.4 hours of Le Mans with just all 4 classes racing. And I'm pretty confident there's a version of Le Mans for R-Factor 2 still around. I don't think they completely removed... Have they completely removed it because of LMU?
I
Or
don't
is it still
think so.
available?
I think it's still there.
If it's still there, then let's do it. That's my proposal for an end of season race anyway. I think it'd be really cool with the 4 classes on track at once as well.
I think we should do it at GPVWC Day on LAN.
No. but plus, what you can do, you could have like, so for example, for THR, you'd have Tom Stevens and Yal Tyen sharing the car and swapping, right? I think it'd be sick.
My only concern is, like, if 1999 Mercedes, I think that would happen at least once with the Formula cars on Le Mans, personally.
Well, let's test it, innit? See whether it works or not.
Why test it? Just say we're racing, no practice.
Speaking of race, session has moved out of warm up now and into race sesh. And I did the qualifying results, Alex, so you can do the grid. Remco, don't speed it up for him. He's only little.
I am going to scream. I don't believe that. I do not believe that whatsoever.
Remco said it's fixed. There's no way. There's no way.
No, Fabian set me up with that.
Fabian sped
sorry.
through it like 3 times speed. 100%. There must be like a way you can change the setting or something, because Alex was like out of breath. Right, let's get crack-a-lacking. Alex, who's where on the grid? I mean, it says on the tower, but we're going to do a presentation thing anyway.
Well, Toby, if you believe it, Julio Lopez starts on pole position with David Yunt behind him in second, with Kurt Rochov and Andrea Shania on the second row. Then the next couple of rows are Filip Savinsky and Mikael Tuomala, with Mark Siaki and Juho Sopanen behind them, 7th and 8th. Then it's Thijs Jungstra and David de Vries, 9th and 10th, with Justin van der Smith on 11th and Magnus Hockenhaug starting 12th. And then next up, we have Danny Robbins and the 2 Potentia cars, Domenico Scarpelli, Joshua Dexter 14th, 15th, with Johannes Lepit starting 16th. Christian Glamsetter then starts 17th with Victor Bernat behind him. The 2 green cars, 17th and 18th, with Mihailo Vicentievich 19th and Antonis Paparino-Poulos in 20th. Yuri Kratochvil starts 21st with James Knox behind him 22nd, and Jero Shalea 23rd. And you'll have to give me a second, I didn't catch that one, but Caroline Harvig 25th, Kasper Kuritz 26th, and Toby 24th. Who was it?
Ben Constantine.
Ben Constantine.
Very well done. Apart from the fact that you didn't practice Antonis Paparanopoulos' name, I noticed. As soon as anyone from the UK sees a name longer than 5 letters, we panic.
Yes, yes. Because we have to break it down into the individual syllables when we see a long word.
Exactly. Especially, so Greek names can get a bit out of hand, can't they? But Paparanopoulos is not too bad once you practice it a couple of times.
Yeah. It's a bit like German, where they just sort of stack a bunch of words on top of each other, and you end up with some absolutely just massive words.
Do you remember the Greek centre-back, Socrates, but his surname was Papastathopoulos? And it never fit on his shirt, so he always had Socrates. Except when he was playing for, like, in a Greek league where he could get it in Greek in shorter letters, but he played for Arsenal and had Socrates on his back. Do you remember?
No.
Brilliant. Well, that was a fun conversation.
Yeah,
right,
that was really good.
Kasper Kuritz coming around the final corner now. Ready to start. Race 1 here at Monza. He's got his brakes nice and hot and is leaving everyone waiting on the start-finish line. He will stop.
Hurry up.
I know. It's a long old road down to turn 1. Who will lead? Will it be Lopez? Will it be Chavinsky? Let's see. As the lights come on, there's 4 of them. Now 5. They were held for a long time, but it's go. What a start by Junior Lopez. You see the launch he got then? Easily moving to take the lead. And it's Shalagi following behind. Here comes Rochov down the inside. Chavinsky's there. And as they head out of the first chicane, we've got Kanaya side by side with Tuomala, mostly clean. But what a jump by Junior Lopez. He's got a second gap already. He's almost out of the slipstream. This could be a nice, easy one for Lopez. He has got that higher downforce. You can see his lead being eaten into. There has already been a yellow flag further back out of the first chicane, and I can see Ben Constantine is a little bit further back. As we switch to the middle of the pack is Ockenhaug defending through the second chicane, but pretty clean from the start there, Alex.
Yeah, and Kasper Kuritz has gained a couple of positions on the start, up to 23, third already, and there goes one of the ST racing cars. It will be Vicentievich, the only ST racing car in this round, and miraculously, he looks undamaged. Maybe he has suspension damage, but in terms of wings, he is perfectly fine there, as Kasper Kuritz makes up a 5th position already up into 21st. His Kurt Rochov on the back of David Yunt, and look at the gap Junior Lopez has at the start already. 1.5 seconds after just one lap. this is pretty much in his hands already. And now onto the main straight. Kurt Rochov will have the slipstream of David Junt into the first chicane, and actually has quite a nice exit out of Parabolica here, and will stay in that slipstream, moves to the inside line, has the overlap in speed, and is quite fiercely on that inside line, closes that gap, and is for sure ahead of David Junt there into turn 1. There wasn't much competition going on there, but that is how slipstream works. The two VMS cars have gained a couple positions off the start as well. They're currently running 8 and Knife, and there's a bit of chaos going on in that whole area there between 8th and 13th. James Knox and Victor Bernat seem to be falling down the order quite rapidly, along with Danny Robbins too. So something must have happened through turn 1 for them to be plummeting so quickly. And look at this gaggle of cars here. We have a Hunter Birch racing car on the inside. We have Casper Kuritz on the outside here. One of the Orbit Motorsport cars goes down the inside of the chicane, cutting the course. Danny Robbins on the inside into Lesmo 1, battling with Casper Kuritz, and Casper Kuritz sliding through Lesmo 1 will be stuck in 16th for now, but this battle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cars all in this slipstream train, Toby.
Shows you exactly what Monza's about, doesn't it? When you've got a pile of cars breaking each other's toe, trying to get track space, especially in these early laps, and I don't see it letting up anytime soon. What a start from Kuritz, though, from the back of the field all the way up to 16th already. He's in danger of getting some points from this race, and yeah, that's a result for him if he can do so. And he's going to go for the inside, move up into 15th place already, and Kuritz is looking strong here to get himself in those reverse grid positions. He's already got one of them, and we all know it won't be 11th, so let's see what Kuritz can do for the remainder of this race, as he's now on the defensive though. And of course, if you don't have slipstream from the car in front, you are going to struggle. He is trying to hold on if he can. Danny Robbins slightly ahead. Kuritz, I think, will send it down the inside and trying to outbrake. Robbins goes side by side. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, and then he hits him for a second time as well, Robbins. That was... well, I want to see that again. It looks a bit 50-50 to me, but cost them both a lot of time. And sometimes as a driver, you feel like you need to turn them back around, but it can cause more damage. I feel like that's what happened to Robbins there. He sort of tapped Kuritz back round again afterwards, but I could see this one coming for a while back. Alex, what was your take?
Well, Casper Kuritz does go down the inside quite late on the brakes. Doesn't leave much space on the outside, but at the same time, damn it, Danny Robbins got onto that sort of green AstroTurf, I think, and lost a bit of grip and slid into that rear axle of Casper Kuritz, who has also lost another position once more. I think he might have given that position back to Danny Robbins, who has actually got past Magnus Ockenhaug, and yeah, I'd like to see that once more from an onboard perspective with Danny Robbins here, because...
What were you watching? We just did.
Yes, I'm asking to see it again.
Oh, once more?
Yes.
Well, for me... At this point, yeah, at that point, it's almost inevitable that they're going to come together. He ran deeper than I thought he did. Right, let's get back to...
We've missed something quite significant, because Danny Robbins is down in 25th. He was 15th. And
oh, missing a wing as well. Well, let's see what happened there.
Out of a replay and straight into another, if we can catch what happened here to Danny Robbins. Does he make contact with Magnus Ockenhaug? Does he make contact with anyone? Casper Kuritz down the inside.
Casper!
Oh, that was not good.
Some immature driving there, I'm afraid. That was never on. And he's thrown it up the inside there, Casper. And it's not giving him room to come back on, knowing that he was compromised on the grass, bouncing over anti-cuts. I don't think that's Danny Robbins' fault at all, that second one. Here comes Tuamala then, battling with Shalagi. 3.5 seconds Junior Lopez has checked out in this one. And this is going to be a pretty dominant one. And maybe not quite so much as Sandeep Singh, who won by 22 seconds at Hungary. But we'll keep an eye on it. Tuamala then he's kind of 1 second back of Travinsky, and it's not quite close enough to be in that slipstream effectively, at least anyway, you probably get a very, very small amount of draft from the car in front. So he's going to have Shilagi all over the back of him as they come towards the first and second corners, the Varianti. Why can't I remember? Varianti da Rettifilio, of course. Yeah, through Parabolica they go. Mikhail Tuamala then has got a decent exit, but I think this will be a slipstream overtake.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the story for most drivers and most overtakes going on today as we watch Shilagi pull to the inside. Not as much of an overspeed as he probably would have liked. Tuamala still has the overlap, and there's contact into turn 1. There's contact even further into turn 1. And Tuamala does lose that position, but I think Shilagi sort of closed that gap on the outside and just ran into the side of Tuamala here. Tuamala will have the slipstream, though, heading towards the second chicane on the circuit. In fact, is alongside on the inside here. And in fact, Justin van der Smissen tries to make it free wide, and there's more contact through that part of the chicane. Not as severe this time, but Justin van der Smissen's looking... David de Vries looking to get into this. Justin van der Smissen bounces across the curbs, cutting the inside of the chicane, and does lose a position to his teammate. But here comes David de Vries then on the Team RNG car, and towards Ascari, moves to the outside, does have the speed overlap. Tuamala seems to be giving the slipstream to both of them, as David de Vries on the outside will have to be later on the brakes and will take a less optimal line as the Team RNG car quite wisely opts to not try and go side by side for Ascari, and probably avoided an incident there. We've seen it happen once already this race with Kasper Kuritz and Danny Robbins, and thankfully we haven't seen it repeated once more.
Yeah, it's one of those where you've got to be very precise with your driving if you're trying to go side by side through that chicane, and they managed to get through there okay. David Junt then is on the back of Rotiav and dragging along Chavinsky. They're in a little micro battle of their own here, aren't they, for P2, 3 and 4. And there's some pretty big points on offer here behind Junior Lopez, who I don't think we're going to see much of for the rest of the race. He has such good pace and is able to maintain that gap. But Junt, Chavinsky, Rochav, that's a micro battle. And then there's that huge battle for Tuamala, De Vries, Shilagi behind them. So can Rochav hold on to that P2? And can De Vries, Tuamala, who's going to come out on top of that? De Vries and Tuamala are side by side into the second chicane. Here comes Thijs Youngstra on the inside, trying to undercut under and over actually on Kanaya. Can he do that? Not quite. Kanaya positioning his car very well as they head through Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. The Potentia behind them of Scapelli will be looking to do something if he can down towards Ascari.
Yep, and Scapelli, we haven't seen much of him in this race, and same with his teammate, who was retiring quite early on. I think on lap 2 we lost Josh Dexter. We don't know what happened. He's just disappeared, along with Victor Bernat and Danny Robbins. Danny Robbins we know what happened to, of course, but Victor Bernat, another sort of mysterious DNF as we watch someone swerving across that back straight towards the Parabolica, and this is what happened to Josh Dexter here. Through Ascari, does he make contact with... Oh dear. He didn't make contact with either of the spinning cars. He got hit from behind by...
He did, but the two cars that span, Goritz and Robbins, obviously were causing the spooking cars behind to sort of get all involved with one another, so not ideal.
Okay, so, and then Victor Bernat and Danny Robbins just lost their front wings and chose to retire, because you aren't really going to be able to gain the places back that you're losing by going into the pit lane. And, that's interesting. But Justin van der Smissen, also interestingly, on the back of his teammate, who is on the back of Mark Siagi, into the second chicane. They're free wide on the entry. Two VMSs make just a complete mess of that corner, and free wide was never, ever going to work there, as Justin van der Smissen does not improve his position, and the positions stay the same, but Siagi and David de Vries just running over the inside of the second chicane and sort of just, I don't know, ignoring the fact that one of them was trying to overtake. But here comes David DeVries onto the inside of Ascari. Here's the other VMS on the inside of someone else, Andrea Shania into Ascari, and I think that was quite close between the Scuderia Recchianera car and the VMS car on the approach to Ascari there. And I think Justin Van der Smissen has ceded the position for now. But David DeVries did make that move quite nicely to get up into 6th position.
I think he'd have to give that back, really, Shalaki, because that's, yeah, he'd cut the chicane completely from the outside. Effectively, at that point, he was going to lose the corner and be behind both VMS cars. Instead, tried to make it 3 wide through a chicane you can barely get 2 through, and subsequently cut the track and gain from it. So he's going to be in trouble if that gets reported. So close to a bit of contact there between the other RNG car, that is Tyson Youngstra, isn't it, fighting with Scapelli nearly into the back of the VMS car of Van der Smissen, but they get away with it as they go side by side then. Scapelli side by side through Curva Grande, and once again there's some more battling. I told you it was going to be a slipstream fest, it just is, and Scapelli choosing to back out of that one and hop over the sausage. Lives to fight another day.
I think people are just getting into a habit. I don't know if this is caused by F1, but people are just getting into a habit of just completely being unable to make the corner and deciding to, instead of trying to make it, just cut the corner entirely. Is what I'm noticing, especially at Monza, where there's gravel on the outside of the track and they don't want to risk or don't want to lose too much time. It's quite a strange trend. As we get another retirement of Antonis Paparinopoulos. The GPVWC Academy car does retire from this race on lap 7. I'm sure we'll have a nice replay, potentially, hopefully, maybe.
Yeah, they'll fly by these races today. The average speed's very, very high. We still did the same distance as normal.
Oh.
Whoa!
Oh, whoa.
Okay. He's nearly kept it. Is he going to be cleaned out? Oh, dear. Oh, sorry. Can you go back?
I think we need a bit more context here.
Whoa, what?
Okay.
What was Crutchfield doing? I mean, what is going on there for a kickoff? And then we do about 8 360s. I think that was Constantine. What is that? Can we go on board with Crutchfield? That's so bad. I know it's the academy team, but you've got it, like, can we go on board? You can see this drama happening. Does he even lift? Still put in it.
No.
Oh no, Yuri, what is that? That's so bad.
That has to be one of the most FS2 incidents I have ever seen.
Props for pitting and getting it fixed, but you've got to be a bit more. If you can see cars doing 720s in front of you, you got to at least think about lifting the throttle.
I don't even think
Constantine
Constantine
was doing 150G in a circle.
Actually, how fast was he going before he started braking? He was going 250 before he started braking. You don't barrel at 250 into that incident.
Oh, no. Don't. Anyway. There's a race going on. Tyson Youngstra is slipstreaming. By the way, I don't like saying things are bad when they, I don't like calling people out. Shocking. What's going on here then? So Tyson Youngstra is battling away. I don't think he was left a great deal of room there as they headed into the braking zone there by Van der Smissen. I think Van der Smissen just about got away with it, but could have been one of those where, I mean, it was almost Bottas versus Verstappen, right? Down into the second chicane we now go. It looks to have sort of tidied itself out, this battle. Here comes James Knox from where was he, 23rd or something? He's going to actually get into potentially a position to get reverse grid pole here. He's just got Johannes Leppert, who we've not mentioned, up 9 positions. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Remco, from his starting position. Koritz could have been much further up as well. But presumably Koritz was the one that was hit by Papadopoulos on the start-finish straight, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it's not gone Koritz's way today. It could have been easily a top 10 from where he got to on the first couple of laps. But Knox is in that position to take reverse grid pole anywhere between 15th and 10th, or 10th and 15th. Except 11th, because we haven't had that for
Except
2 years.
11th.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 full years and more.
I don't know why is Van der Smissen trying an overtake there? You just okay. Never mind.
Don't question a man at work, Toby.
Sorry, I apologise profusely. He scared him off the track, and Shalagi slots in behind. I wonder if Shalagi. I'd like to know what Shalagi did there, because if it was on purpose, it was a bit late now to be giving up positions, and if it was accidental, I don't really see what was going on at all. But yeah, Ty Songstrom moves up to 9th then, and Knox is up into 12th. He's got by Leppert as well. Missed that. He must have got him down into turn 1, I'd imagine. And what?
Well, it's been a race so far, and Lopez has 6 seconds at the front.
Leppert was coming back
second.
then at Knox, and nope, didn't make it. 6 seconds, yeah, well, it's been one of those for him. David Yunt is looking likely to take 3rd. He's actually gapped Chavinsky, thank you very much. Just what I was going to try and do in my head. 1.6 seconds. Remco's just updated the timing sheets for us. That was telepathic. Van der Smissen and Kanaya is the closest battle, and we're watching it. And Van der Smissen would do well here to... well, maybe he can scare another driver off the apex. I don't know.
Maybe he will. Maybe he will go for a move into Parabolica down the inside and then spook his opponent into just completely making a mess at the corner. Maybe he is a genius and we just don't know it, Toby. Watch, he'll go down the inside. Will Andrea Shania make an absolute mess of the corner?
No.
Okay, he seems to have managed this one a bit better.
If you go down the inside there, you're just compromising your exit, and this is where the magic happens, down into turn 1. Like, all the slipstream is here. So, and in fact, here comes Justin Van der Smissen down the inside. He'll easily clear him before they even get to the braking zone. And does slot in front. That's how you do it. As the RNGs come barreling in. It looked like they braked about 30 meters too late, but somehow, whoa, both made the corner. As Shalagi gets a little bit crossed up. It's a bit frustrating that we have that visual bug with the bollard thing there, but there we go. So, and Van der Smissen now having to defend as the RNGs go side by side. And Thijs Youngstra looks like he's coming back at Shalagi down into the second chicane, the Della Rocha, and he's going to over and under him into the first Lesmo. What a move this would be if he comes off. Will they try to go side by side through here? You can't really get 2 cars through here sensibly, and indeed, Youngstra takes the position. Good move.
It was a bit more of a defense, but it was a clean and tidy defense as one of the Hunter Birch racing cars dips a rear wheel into the gravel further back. That was Magnus Ockenhaug, who's trailed quite closely by Johannes Leppert, who's on the outside into Ascari and is ahead of Magnus Ockenhaug into Ascari and gets the 13th position from Magnus Ockenhaug because Ockenhaug decided to Ockenhaug into the gravel. I said Ockenhaug about 6 times.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. They're in the points and potentially could get 1-2 on the grid from here, especially if they can both get Leppert. But we're on to the final lap now. I nearly said Loppet, I know. Side by side here between Kanaya and Van der Smissen as we head towards turn 1. What?
Nothing.
What are you giggling at?
Oh, Kanaya just... We're just not trying to go for the corner anymore,
the
are we?
chicane.
Just... Oh, what's that doing there?
That's the bollard I was on about. Were you paying attention, Evan? Do I need to take your phone back off you?
I wasn't on my phone. I was looking at the YouTube chat,
No.
reading it.
Well, you get lost. You get lost there if you do that. Shilagi and Scarpelli battling away through the second chicane, and behind them, look at Lepit being mauled by Ockenhaug, not quite making it through Lesbo 1. We're in danger of watching this battle for the rest of the race, actually, because it's so tight, and this is could be very important for reverse grid. In fact, the two Hunter Birch is going to swap. Ockenhaug has lost momentum on the exit of the Ascari, the second Lesbo as they come towards Ascari, but Lopez is round the final corner now, I think, and Junior Lopez lights a flag victory, a superb pole. I don't know if he's got fastest lap as well, but he's certainly done. I think he has actually. Yeah, he's got fastest lap as well. So a grand slam for him, and the two priority ones cross the line, third and fourth. Rochiav P2, Tuamala taking fifth from De Vries. Van der Smissen here with Kanaya trying to get him at the line, unable to do so. Less than 10th between them. Youngstra and Shilagi running at the top 10. Scapelli finishing ahead of Knox. Here comes Lepit and the two Hunter Birches for 14th and 15th, rounding out the points, and Kurit's going to miss out. But what a drive from Junior Lopez.
It was impressive from Junior Lopez, and we saw him on the first lap. We were talking about it in warm-up. I was watching back how he took off from the line, and it turns out he was pedal to the metal and just completely dumped to the clutch, like we said you can do, and that's how he got such a good start. And maybe people should try it themselves. However, we do now have race 2 with a reverse grid, but that doesn't matter because we've got the results to go. Junior Lopez does win from Kurt Rochav and David Yunt, the free podium finishers, with Philip Sabinski 4th, Mikhail Tuamala 5th, the two VMS cars of David De Vries, Justin Van der Smissen 6th and 7th, with Andrea Schneier finishing 8th, and then the two Team RNG cars, Thijs Jungstra and Mark Szilagi, finishing 9th and 10th. Then Domenico Scarpelli finishes 11th with James Knox behind him, and Johannes Lepit will finish in 13th, followed by the two Hunter Birch cars of Magnus Ockenhaug and Juho Soppinen. I think that's the fourth convoy of the two same team cars on the entire track, but Kasper Kuritz finishes just outside of the points, 16th with Christian Gladsetter behind him, the Hill of Shentievich 18th, and Jero Kaleha 19th, with Ben Constantine finishing 20th. Then just two more finishes of Caroline Harvick and Euro Kracheville, 21st and 22nd, with four non-finishers of Antonis Paparinopoulos, 23rd, Victor Manat, Danny Robbins, and Josh Dexter, all not finishing the race, and most of them in quite spectacular incidents, Toby.
Yeah, there was some very spinny people going on, and some of the incidents were quite good. Not ideal, but we move. Race 2 is upon us. We'll be back after a moment to think about what happened. Hello and welcome back. You'll never guess, but it's been over 2 years since P11 was last the reverse grid. And Alex, reveal, what is the reverse grid number?
Well, I'm excited to tell you, it is not P11. Believe it or not.
Once again, the Chris Williamson gods are against us. It is 15th. So that did matter, that last lap. And Kasper Kuritz has missed out as a result.
Well, he was going to miss out regardless.
Well, yes, he was, but he's missed out by 1 place, is what I mean. But it was therefore going to be, or is therefore going to be, 1-2 for Hunter Birch on the grid, which will be fun for them. Exciting times are ahead. They are upon us. It's a good track. Parabolic is nice, isn't it? Coming down the start finish straight is good. Bit bumpy here. Rattles your fillings out your teeth.
That is the most like UK thing I've ever heard. You wanted to go, so surely you have something worth talking about, Toby. You were super excited to come and watch this warm-up session.
You're absolutely right. So over the summer break, Tash and myself and my daughter went to Pets at Home.
Oh?
If you're not aware what Pets at Home is, it's a pet shop in the UK, but it's like a chain of them. And we went there, and Tash fell in love with a little bunny rabbit called Benjamin. And she was adamant that we had to have a house bunny to live and hop around the house. Saying she would approach me and go, "What about it? It would do nice hops." And then, so what I did was researched whether 2 cats could get along with a house bunny, and determined it was a terrible idea, and that they would not get on with a house bunny. So therefore, last Friday, we went to some woman's house and bought another kitten. So I now have 3 cats.
Oh God.
So the third one's called Willow. She's very sweet.
So instead of, let's see, about £150 rabbit, we got a probably much more expensive cat, I would imagine, Toby.
I think she was £80.
Really?
Yeah, she's a little kitten, isn't it? It's just a little mog.
And then the vet visits and all that.
I'm going to put a photo of her in GPVWC general chat. She is so small.
But can we get the amazing, mid-broadcast Discord picture view, just so everyone on the broadcast can see? Because we did that last time, or was it?
Oh my God, yes, we could so do that.
Roof.
Yeah, we could defo do that. If Remco would have to, pull his finger out and do some work for once, but yeah. So I put it in GPVWC general. So I think you need to download the images and save them as new scenes, right? Or in fact, you could just bring the windows up. I don't know.
Yeah, just put a picture of the cat on the.
She is so I've been asked what type of cat. Just a normal cat, just a little mog.
It's a cat.
She's not a breed of any kind. She's just mixed, but she is white and tabby, and she's very sweet. She's got a little silly white tuft on her back, and she's 9 weeks old, so she's very small.
She's the most cat-shaped cat. Oh, wow.
Isn't she cute?
It's just a cat-shaped cat.
Oh, apparently I put it in the wrong chat and I'm being bullied. Should have put it in off topic.
No, it's the topic of a GPVWC broadcast, so it's here we go.
No, that's like my whole house you're showing people. Do you like my subwoofer in the background? Then why have you stretched it? Oh, there she is.
Production quality.
Oh, it's so good. Why are you stretching her, poor thing? She's so nice. Look at her little whiskers. She's got like massive ears as well, but she is so small. I can't get across to you how little this cat is. She's like, I can hold her in one hand.
She's the size of one.
She's the size of my hand. So yeah, there we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed Willow being on the broadcast. Good. Right, you can stop that now, Remco. You've had some fun. Oh. So yeah. Anyway, that's my cat. You can also see my foot in the photo as well.
For free, Toby. For free. Chris, I seriously hope we're not changing the session because of this nonsense on the screen.
Please crack a lock on.
I've just gone back and watched that walking across the screen. Come on, Remco.
She's got she's got a carrot. It's her favorite toy, and she has it everywhere. My one cat called Daisy, right? She's just over a year old. She follows Willow around and protects her like a little mother. It's so sweet. Petal, my irritant, the one that you've probably heard on the broadcast before, just doesn't like her at all. She just sits there and growls and hisses at Willow's like, "What you doing, mate? I'm not even doing anything. Leave me alone."
Oh, Toby, I believe it's your turn to do the grid and results for this one.
Yes. Why did you say it so excited?
Because if you make any mistakes, you're going to get rinsed. I got rinsed.
Yeah, I'm going to be mortified.
Oh.
Why are we back to the cat?
This is better than the scrolling graphic, this.
Right. Didn't save the stretching. Yeah, never mind, Remco. That's fine.
Can we just block the
grid? Right before the grid.
Come on, Toby.
Good. Wrong scene. Try the other one. There we go. Juho Sopanen is on pole position for Hunter Birch with Magnus Okanaug P2, Johannes Leppit and James Knox P3 and P4 on row 2. Row 3 is Domenico Scarpelli and Mark Shalanki with Thijs Jongstra and Kanaya behind them in 7th and 8th. Justin van der Smissen and David de Vrij, the VMS teammates, 9th and 10th with Tuamala and Philip Chavinsky, 11th and 12th. 13th place goes to David Junt with Kurt Rotjav in 14th. Junior Lopez, our race 1 winner, 15th. And the final reverse position, Kasper Koric missed out in 16th. Christian Glamsetter and Mihajlo Vicentijevic in 17th and 18th position, with Jairo Calleja in 19th and Ben Constantine hopefully will be more forward pointing this race in 20th. Caroline Harvig and Yuri Kratochvil in 21st and 22nd. Antonis Paparanopoulos in 23rd with Victor Bernat in 24th. 25th and 26th and rounding up the grid are Danny Robbins for Makespo and Josh Dexter for Potentia.
You notice when someone that is a native English speaker comes up with something they cannot pronounce, like you said, in race 1 they pause and then they put on an accent because it's not. We always say it in the most just incorrect or accented way possible.
Yes.
Because we
it's not
do
like I can't
know
say it. I'm just doing my best to be true to the correct pronunciation, and that's the best I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Are we ready for bowling into turn 1 then?
Wii Sports bowling, yeah. Spare.
Race 2 is known for its chaos. I will call it chaos. You may not like me calling it chaos, but
No,
it is.
I agree.
That's what race 2 summons. And we had quite a manic race 1. Let's see what we get in race 2. As we'll have the final car on the grid line up a bit more promptly than we did last time with Casper Kuritz being about a kilometer behind.
Right, we await the lights. And to Birch 1-2. Will it stay that way? Here come the lights. There's one of them. There's 2 of them. Actually, there's 6. Now 8. Now 10. Let's go! And they both get a good start. Soppanen immediately cutting across in front of his teammate. Here comes Ockenhaug then with a slipstream on the outside, but those 2 clear of Johannes Leppert in P3, and James Knox trying to go around the outside and immediately make a difference. Is braking a bit too late, but was Leppert, and now the Hunter Birches are banging wheels. There's a sideways, it was Van der Smissen actually, VMS. Van der Smissen then is going to drop pretty much to the back of the field. James Knox slots back in through Curva Grande. Can he make a move on Johannes Leppert? James Knox is very quick. We've seen that this season as they all go defensive at the front of the pack, and it's still going to be a Hunter Birch 1-2 as they head through the second chicane. Bit of contact from Knox on the back of Leppert through the exit of the second chicane, and there's a Freccianero side by side there. 5
That is not full wide.
Yeah, it might be 5 as we head into Lesmo 1. Still 3 wide through the first part. Can they get through? They can. And aside from 1 or 2 sideways moments for, well, in fact, an entire back of the pack drop for Van der Smissen, it's been pretty clean so far.
And somehow, amongst all of that, all the drivers have managed to keep their nose paid. Oh, never mind. Why did I speak? There goes one of the Orbit Motorsports cars into the barriers. On a straight somehow. And oh dear.
No, oh, okay. Well, if he wasn't out the race, he is now, Kaleha. He was missing a front wing, and the 1 FPS tyre comes across the track. And out goes one of the priority ones. That is David Yunt. And there we go. So James Knox has got by Leppert and is now hunting down the 2 Hunter Birches as we head towards the chicane for the second time. And Leppert has been easily done by Knox. And Knox's car clearly very good in a straight line. Can he potentially win?
Well, Juho Soppanen's struggling. James Knox does have the pace here, as we have, I believe, Mikel Tuomala going across the sausages at turn 1, cutting the course as we watch this small pack of cars relatively to what we've seen, as Slagi looks at the inside into the second chicane, but is unable to get past Casper Kuritz, who has moved up to P6 from P16, as James Knox takes the second position from Juho Soppanen in the Hunter Birch car. And Silagi does actually this time get past Casper Kuritz into the Lesmos, but Kuritz a great start here already as we watch the Hans Lepit trying to get past Soppanen into Ascari on the outside down the back straight, and is slightly later on the brakes, but they are side by side still through Ascari onto the AstroTurf. There's a bit of contact, and it's squiggly, but it's still on as the Hunter Birch car goes onto the gravel, and in fact somewhat blocks I believe Thijs Jongstra, who subsequently pushes Soppanen onto the grass, onto the back straight. Soppanen down the inside into the final corner, and the RNG has been replaced by Mark Salagi on the back of Juho Soppanen. But down the main straight then, we've got 4 cars looking to take this 4th position, and Hans Lepit also under a bit of pressure here, but not so much as Juho Soppanen into turn 1. Thijs Jongstra on the inside, Salagi on the outside. Soppanen later on the brakes. Oh, the Team RNG car on the inside almost got squeezed by his teammate and the Hunter Birch car, but manages to keep it clean, but does lose a position then to Casper Kuritz. And here comes Junior Lopez as well on the outside of the Curva Grande, trying to get past, trying to get himself involved in this battle. I think he finds a space in the middle there, and there's a bit of contact between him and Casper Kuritz. Junior Lopez now sliding through the second chicane, and
Oh,
No,
oh, he makes contact as he
Julio.
rejoins. Ooh.
Can Lopez do a race 2 ever? I mean, it feels like he always does well in race 1 and just simply cannot make it happen in race 2, as he's going to be down the inside, goes side by side. I think that's
There goes one of the RNGs. Oh,
what is
okay.
Koritz, Lopez, what are we doing here, guys? And 3 wide they go down towards the Ascari chicane. This is not going to end well. I can see some head loss about to happen from one or the other two of these two. Let's see if they get through. Nope. There's some contact, but they do get through. This is going to rage on for the rest of this lap. I can feel it coming. Lopez there. And Koritz, I don't know what was going on through the exit of Lesmo too, but it's not over yet. They're still side by side. I think Koritz probably dived down the inside at Lesmo too. Lopez didn't see him coming. They ran each other wide. One of the RNGs went round, I think, as well. I'm not sure who that was, but here comes Lopez then in the slipstream of Koritz. I'd be amazed if his steering wheel's still straight. And further in front, we've got some nonsense going on. In fact, Lopez does seem to still have a pretty straight steering wheel, so maybe there's a chance his damage isn't too bad. And we're 3 wide. Whoa, it's very early on the brakes there from the priority 1. As Koritz jumps the chicane, and I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on to that position, given that Lopez was pretty much clear of him as they entered the braking zone. It's all getting a bit fraught, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, there's. I'm not going to immediately call out and say anything's intentional as what's going on here as Domenico Scarpelli goes around and is well out of the points now. I believe that was contact with himself and Mark Salagi, maybe, the Team RNG car at the front, or potentially with Soppinen. We are missing Ockenhaug, who is in first place by quite a while compared to James Knox, and he's had quite a quiet race, which seems to have settled down a little bit as Soppinen late to the inside at Ascari. Kasper Kuritz on the outside. Soppinen gives the position to Kasper Kuritz and is now challenged by Junior Lopez as we head to Parabolica, and quite a lot going on here, Toby.
Yeah, it's all got a bit messy, isn't it, this race, unfortunately. Let's see what can happen as they head towards the Parabolica and if it can calm down. We're only on lap 4. There's plenty of laps left in this race. This could easily go the full distance in terms of squabbling. And Junior Lopez here all over the back of Soppinen. Koritz has got ahead, but for me, he cut the first chicane to maintain that position. So this is going to be one for the stewards. If it goes that far, this could easily be 3 wide as well, as Lopez giving a hip and shoulder to Koritz. Those two are going to crash into each other momentarily. I can see that coming as Koritz sends one down the inside, once again cutting the chicane. Will he hold on to the advantage again? I hope not, to be honest with you, because you can't just keep cutting the corner and hoping for the best, but Lopez does have the momentum, and now Koritz maybe he's lifted off a bit, and now there's going to bunch the pack up, and Lopez is on the outside of Koritz as they head down towards the second chicane. Koritz is still there, sends one in, but Lopez makes the move stick, and actually Tuamala's, oh gosh, it's frantic, isn't it, as they go into the first Lesmo. Lopez finally gets through.
Yeah, it's hard to call what's going on here, as it seems just every avenue we look down, there's a bit of action going on. And I think there's something going on there between Junior Lopez and Kasper Kuritz. But Kasper Kuritz doesn't have to worry so much about what's in front of him anymore. He has to worry about what's behind him. It's the other Cap Clay car down the inside. Goes Tuamala into Ascari and will stay there for a while, but decides to back out and doesn't go side by side with Kasper Kuritz through Ascari. And something is for sure at play here. But look at this massive train of cars, all of which influenced by each other's slipstream. And this goes from just about P4 all the way back to just past the points, as Paparinopoulos is battling away with Caroline Harvig for the last position, the last points paying position, I should say. Justin Van Smithens climbed his way back up to P11. But as we head onto the straight, Tuamala in the slipstream of Kasper Kuritz moves to the outside before turn 1. And here comes David De Vries on Philip Savinsky as well. Kasper Kuritz down the inside. Philip Savinsky, oh, he's round. And into turn 1, he very narrowly avoids hitting any of the other cars. And what was going on there?
what was Koretz doing, man? He's just thrown Chavinsky into the grass there, and don't know what's going through. Look, there's more contact down towards the second chicane. We'll have a quick look at this. I'd love to get back to live as soon as possible, but this is, for me, he's reacted to Chavinsky going down the inside and pushed him onto the grass there. And for me, it's incredibly fortunate for Chavinsky that he's not hit anyone and is able to continue. Incredibly fortunate.
Yeah, that was millimeters between him and the front wing of Lopez, and but that potentially that was the intent for Koretz there, to try and get someone barreling through turn 1. I'm just going to speculate for now, but down the inside into Ascari goes Koretz for P7. But based on what I've seen so far, I don't think this position is really going to matter for Koretz at all. There's at least a couple of penalties for sure heading his way. And there's quite a lot going on here as well, as he makes contact once more with a VMS car. Justin van der Smissen down the inside into Parabolica. Koretz quite late on the brakes. Justin van der Smissen still makes the move work on the inside of Parabolica and will now be dragged along by his teammate. But Kasper Koretz in the slipstream will have a speed overlap and is going into the painted area of the main straight to try and get past Justin van der Smissen into turn 1, but we are 3 wide further back with Kurt Rochov and Juho Sopanen and Philip Savinsky battling away there. Kurt Rochov doesn't remain on top. In fact, Philip Savinsky is able to get past for 10th. And here's the battle going on back here. Andreas Shania on the back of Kurt Rochov into the second chicane through Curva Grande. Will be sort of hindered a little bit here by Philip Savinsky, I think, as we watch Justin van der Smissen going across the chicane. And if I had money for every time someone's cut a chicane, I'd have quite a bit of money this race.
They're like 3 wide further back there, by the way, and van der Smissen very wisely has given the position back up to Koretz because he did cut across the chicane. Although, for me, having looked at it briefly, whoa, contact! For me, having looked at it briefly, I don't think Koretz gave him any room on the entry to the chicane either. I think it was again, Koretz has not given enough room. And again, there's contact between Koretz and van der Smissen as they head towards Ascari. We just saw that in the foreground there.
Oh, James Knox.
What do you mean, all James Knox?
James Knox is very close to the back of Magnus Lockenhaug here. And potentially there's a move into turn 1 to be watched.
Yeah. I want to see what... Well, yes, we probably ought to watch the leaders, but here comes Knox then. So Ockenhaug has got a sensibly sized lead. Can he stay in the slipstream and Knox and potentially get him back later on in the race? It's going to be tricky for him. I think Knox is probably the quicker. As Ockenhaug tries to go around the outside, Knox gives him room, but the exit on that corner, you're on the rubbered in line. It is better as we head down towards the second chicane. And Koretz, Rochia, van der Smissen are all battling away still. But we head towards the second chicane then. Side by side goes Knox and Ockenhaug. And can Knox hold on to it? Yes, he can. Takes the lead away from Ockenhaug and moves himself up into first place. And guess what? Koretz is dropping down the order.
Well, there's definitely something going on back there. Kurt Rochov is falling a little bit. There's a yellow in Sector 1. It's Paparanopoulos who has spun around once more and will find himself in the last finishing position. And in fact,
and missing a wing. Look at that.
Oh, Kasper Koretz doesn't have a wing. Yeah.
So I'd like to see what happened to him. I can tell you what was happening further back. A complete head loss from Kasper Koretz this race. Let's have a little look at what happened down in turn 1. So he's okay. So we've got an over. What? That is deliberate contact. Deliberate contact from Kasper Koretz. He should be thrown out of the championship. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well then. Oh, and then Paparanopoulos, an innocent bystander and all of that. Just, I think Scapelli gets tagged by Koretz and then is pushed into... No. Paparanopoulos is pushed onto the grass by the Hunter Birch car there.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he had much of an overlap, but nevertheless, there was some debris and nonsense coming back on the track, wasn't there? I mean, what are we looking at? yeah, there wasn't an overlap between Paparanopoulos and the Hunter Birch, in my opinion. It was one of those where you can't just like drive into the space and hope they give you position. But yeah. Difficult
Well,
watch,
we're down
that
to
one.
18 finishes now.
I hate to get grumpy in these broadcasts. I really do, but it frustrates me so much. You could see it happening for so many laps, and that he was going to do something dumb, and it happened, and eventually it's cost him his front wing, and thankfully he can no longer take any part in this race. So that's all that's the summary of what I just watched. Anyway, we have a race to finish, and there are chances of points for the guys we're watching right now. Down to Caroline Harvick, and she is on the back of that train that goes to Yuri Kralichville, who is the final points-paying position holder for the GPVWC Academy team, and Scapelli just in front. Well, actually 4 seconds in front means that this is going to be a battle now till the end of the race for that final point. James Knox and Ockenhaug are still together at the front of the pack as well. So, and look, Kralichville has made a mistake through that chicane, so it's going to enable some battling. Here comes Ockenhaug back at James Knox then as they head towards the first chicane. So it's not all over this race. They've got a fairly sizable gap to P3, Alex. So these two, it's going to be between these two.
Yeah, and this battle potentially will persist for the rest of this race. We've got 3 laps, or technically 4 laps to go, with Magnus Ockenhaug back battling James Knox. But here comes James Knox then, down the inside into the second chicane. Decides not to go for a move there, and I think trying to just not gain some time, but mind his time until the main straight and make sure that he will have the slipstream advantage to be able to successfully take the lead and hold the lead on the final lap. And I think this is just going to be a game of strategy and a game of cat and mouse, really, for these two leaders. They just to try and decide who will get this win here, as we watch from the rear James Knox approaching Magnus Ockenhaug. Ockenhaug not the cleanest entry into Ascari, but still maintains that gap on James Knox. But the slipstream will start to kick in around about now, and that gap will close and close and close, exponentially getting smaller and smaller, and the gap closing much faster and into Parabolica. James Knox a bit later on the brakes, but still has less than a 4/10 gap now onto the main straight, and with the slipstream will rapidly approach the rear end of this Hunter Birch car, and in fact not as quick as James Knox is probably hoping for. As we head to the turn 1 entry around about now, James Knox is forced to the outside line later on the brakes than Magnus Ockenhaug, and does get an overlap into the second part of the chicane there, and does get past Magnus Ockenhaug, does James Knox, for first position. But I think this is just going to be a replay that we're going to see over and over again of someone making a move into turn 1 and then holding for a lap, and then someone making a move into turn 1. But here comes Juho Soppinen on Andrea Shinaya, and similar to what the leaders have just done, goes around the outside, and there's more contact this time. He does take 11th provisionally, but Shinaya will have the slipstream of Philip Savinsky ahead, and will be able to hold on to 11th for now as we head to the Della Rogia chicane. Juho Soppinen on the inside, decides to stay behind Shinaya for now.
Oh, here comes Van der Smissen poking his nose in Lesbo 1. He does that a lot, Van der Smissen. There was never a move on there. And consequently, look, he's lost a whole bunch of car lengths. So, unable to make the move now down into Ascari that he otherwise would have done if he'd just stayed on the racing line in the first Lesmo. But there we go. Some lessons there to be learned. Ockenhaug then is less than 2/10 back, and we're getting quite close to the end of the race here. We've only got a couple of laps left after this. It's actually going to be about whether Ockenhaug wants to take this position or if he wants to follow him for another lap. If he takes this position, does James Knox go back past him?
Well, there's 2 laps, so at this tempo, Magnus Ockenhaug if he keeps the lead here, which he might not, as James Knox later on the brakes down the inside and will cut the chicane and will have to cede that position quite significantly to Magnus Ockenhaug there, and will lose probably not as much time as he should have there, in fact, and will now be pulled along by the slipstream to potentially take back that lead from Magnus Ockenhaug. But if James Knox passes on the next lap, then that could be the race win just secured right there for James Knox. So that might have been tactical.
That's what I'm saying. It's one of those where, for me, if Ockenhaug waits a lap, he's got the chance to do it next lap and take that position. Now Knox has the chance, but saying that, the gap is 5 tenths at the top of the field. Can Ockenhaug hold on for a race victory? That would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely possible, as Caroline Harvick does move up to 16th. But that battle will continue between the Venus and GPVWC Academy car into the De La Rocha chicane. Kretschville was on the inside, not anymore, decides to back out and continue in 17th, as we have had another retirement. It's the Mapes Voe of Ben Constantine. Obviously something's happened there, but this is the battle for the lead, and this is what we've been talking about, Toby. Look at the gap that James Knox has here. He, going on to the last lap, has the chance to keep the lead. So it all comes down then to what happens in turn 1 here. James Knox pulls to the inside. Ockenhaug tries to defend it, but James Knox has much of a significant overlap here, and in fact will maintain P1. Magnus Ockenhaug tries to take space, tries to find an exit, and now right onto the back of James Knox towards the De La Rocha chicane through the Curva Grande. Magnus Ockenhaug with the slipstream will be looking to make a move that will stick. He picks the inside line of the Curva Grande. There's contact between the two leaders, as Magnus Ockenhaug on the outside in the chicane will have to be brave on the brakes, but we'll have the inside line then as we head towards the two Lesmos. It's Magnus Ockenhaug still on the inside then, and seem to be constantly side by side. James Knox is wide and onto the gravel and will lose that position. But now there's 2 more straights to go for Magnus Ockenhaug. 2 more straights for James Knox to potentially displace this leader and take the win here in Monza as we head in towards Ascari in the slipstream. As James Knox not able to get close enough this time around, fills the mirrors of Ockenhaug, but it's not enough to make a move as we head into the last overtaking opportunity for James Knox. He is close enough to potentially get a slipstream overlap. It's going to go down to the last corner here, Toby. James Knox in the slipstream. Point 2, they are swerving across the track. James Knox onto the grass a little bit. It's a temp. They are side by side now. Knox around the outside. Ockenhaug on the inside. Ockenhaug's better on the brakes, but James Knox will not have the better line. Straight into the slipstream once more. Towards the line. This is going to be close. This is so close, Toby. It's less than 7 thousandths of a second, 700ths of a second across the line. James Knox barely beaten by Magnus Ockenhaug. And what a race to the line that was, Toby.
Unbelievable stuff. They multiple times I thought they were going to wipe each other out, but they just about held on. What racing! And Hunter Birch take their first victory of the season. They've had a couple last year with Joe Gillette, but this season they have not. And it's going to be a win then for Magnus Ockenhaug. Unbelievable stuff. What a drive for him.
That was just incredible racing at the end, and Ockenhaug, I think, played that perfectly to get the move done when he did. He sort of limited Knox's ability to fight back, but Knox, with that fighter's spirit, with the slipstream, almost had that win in the bag. I think it all came down to who had the inside line at the final corner there, Toby.
Yeah, my only concern is the weaving down into the parabolica was a little extreme, trying to break the slipstream there from Magnus. But for me, I think he deserves the victory, and I don't think I would penalise it if I was. I'm obviously not in the disciplinary committee, but that's my view on that. But Ockenhaug then takes the victory on track. I think he'll hold on to it, to be honest with you. He deserves it. James Knox P2 in the end, only just by, as you say, 700ths of a second, sorry. We both did that. Why did we both do that? Mark Schlagi then taking a deserved podium for RNG. He was in a race of his own in the end. Janus Leppert then P4. David De Vrij in 5th. Junior Lopez P6 only. still can't get a race 2 together, can he? Mikhail Tuamala 7th, Christian Glanset at 8th position, Justin Van ninth, and Philip Chavinsky, unfortunately for him, P10, could have been so much better. P11 goes to Andrea Kanaya with Danny Robbins 12th, Domenico Scarpelli in 13th, Juho Sopanen from the front row to 14th, Hunter Birch and Kurt Rochav rounding out the points. Caroline Harvig crossed the line quite a bit back in the end in 16th, Yuri Kratuchville in 17th, and then the DNFs for Konstantin. The 19th was Kasper Koritz, and some shocking driving from him today. Joshua Dexter in 20th, or rather DNF. Paparanopoulos, Thijs Jongstra, Vicentijevic, Victor Banat, David Yunt, and Kalea, rounding out the rest of the DNFs.
Well, can we beat the record for the longest DC document? What was it? It was 9 pages.
I mean, yeah, it was shocking driving today, up and down the field. Some individuals that really did not cover themselves in glory at all. I really hope it improves again, because we have had some good rounds this season, but that was just a joke.
Well, shall we move on to my favorite part of the broadcast that I absolutely love doing, and
Which
would
is listening to me interview people.
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
Yes, let's go swish with the GPVWC animation. There it goes.
Look at that.
Swish into the interviews.
Can we get the cat on the screen here as well? Is that possible?
No. We've done the cat bit. There's too much. We can't do too many bits. Magnus,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm both happy and relieved everything. Like given the current season has been going on, like my results haven't been the best, and whenever I have been in strive for a good result, like some bad luck has hit me. Like now I can finally get the monkey off my back for this year.
Absolutely. You had a couple of wins last season. At USA, I think you had one, didn't you? I can't remember the other one, but
the other one was China.
China.
in the event.
Yeah, and so you're stranger to the top step, but as you say, it's great to get a victory this season, and in fact, it's the third for you and the third for Hunter Birch as well. Talk us through that final lap, because it was very, very tight.
Yeah, like Maxim was my race engineer, so he told me to weave on the straight, like at the start of the last lap. But I figured out it wouldn't really be worth it because you had to play it smart. Like if you let yourself be overtaken into turn 1, you have a better chance to set yourself up for the second half of the lap. Like it worked out in the chicane, in the second chicane. So like, I then survived Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2. Like try and fend off the dirt air, like give the James some dirt air and then just hang on to the end. Like, it was so stressful because like every lap, like I had small stuttering, like lag, so I was like, please don't do this towards me, because like I have been in trouble with a bit of lag like during the season, like some lag spike. So I just hope that the PC itself didn't shut itself, and it didn't.
But you still held on, and so the strategy was to lead into the final lap and then get overtaken. That's interesting to me, because if it was me, I'd want to be coming into the final lap to overtake into turn 1 and hope to hold on for the rest of the lap after that. But I mean, it worked out for you, so.
Yeah, but like if you overtake into turn 1, you risk yourself to get overtaken into turn 3, like turn 4, the chicane. And then you're stuck in the dirt area in Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2. So like you have to choose like which scenario you want to go with. So at least my scenario was the correct choice this time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Proven by the fact that you crossed the line 700ths ahead of James. He must have been very scary on that start finish straight, whether or not he was going to get ahead of you.
Yeah, Maxim told me to weave on the final straight like a little bit, and then I dipped the tire on the grass. I was like, oh, please don't, please. I was scared it was going to send it around the outside, but luckily its parabolic just slightly cambered on the exit, because like you are able to fend off from the inside.
I mean, potentially. I couldn't tell you without looking, but yeah. Congratulations, Magnus. You did a great job in race 2. Well done, mate.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to get my redemption in Singapore as well. Like I've been quite good there in the past. I hope to finally crack the code there as well.
Good stuff. That'll be in 2 weeks' time. No, it won't. It will be in
No, it's
4 weeks'
Mexico.
time. It's Mexico next. Yes.
Yeah, Mexico
next.
first, then Singapore.
Fair enough. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you in those 2 rounds. Thank you for joining us today, Magnus, and well done on your race 2 victory.
Yeah, see you guys next time, hopefully.
Right, let's bring in our other race winner, Junior Lopez. Hello, my friend.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So race 1, obviously easy peasy in the end for you. It seemed you were running slightly more downforce, or at least had something going on that limited your straight top speed. Yeah, was that just purely it was slightly faster over a lap, and you were hoping to get a gap? Is that how that works?
No, my thought was, well, with this car, you don't, when you're using low downforce, even if you go a bit higher, you don't lose that much top speed. So I was like, okay, let me just go a bit higher. I know I probably have like a 10.42 in me over the other guys. Let me get a good quality lap, and then I know if I get P1 after the first chicane, I can just go away. That was my process of thought, really.
And it worked. I mean, you had a really, really good start off the grid as well, like a really good launch, and led easily. So start to finish, fastest lap, pole, absolute domination in race 1, and then of course race 2. I mean, I called it shocking driving on the broadcast from Koritz. Talk us through that battle from what you were doing.
It was so frustrating, I have to say. Well, like when you're racing, you expect people to be at least sensible, you know? That someone can be dirty, but I don't know. The first time after on the braking zone on the second chicane, when I went off track, I was like, I don't know how I saved this. I actually don't know. I had so much damage. I was like, after that, I was only thinking on surviving, I have to say. On trying to avoid him, because I don't know what was in his head, but that was not safe. Just, yeah, really, really not safe.
Fair enough. I honestly can't argue with you from what I was watching. I don't know how you feel about it, Alex. I know you don't like these interviews too much, but how do you read the situation?
Just in general, it's just bad. It's just terrible, horrible. It annoys me that twice in 2 years in race 2 we've had questionable driving decisions by certain drivers that will not be named.
Yeah. Obviously, Sandeep's not here this round, Junio. You've eaten into his championship lead. I know he's a long way ahead. Are you still looking at that potentially towards the end of the season?
Yeah, I'm sad he wasn't here. I'm just trying to have some fun. Not really thinking about that. So I'm actually sad that he wasn't here, because race 1 was really boring.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us today. And well done on your race 1 victory. And hopefully we'll be talking in 2 weeks' time.
Yep. Same.
One more, Alex. Pick a name, any name. I like to bring Menno in. My favourite thing to do is bring Menno in when he's waiting for an interview, because he never wants to do an interview, so I'm going to do that. Menno, how are you?
Oh. Hello. I was not supposed to be here. I was just chatting with the...
What do you mean you're in the wait here for the interview? Do you remember we had this conversation before?
We did have this earlier in the season.
Oh yeah, but I was just so happy with Magnus Ockenhaug winning and Maxi Lagli in P3, and then of course James Knox in P2 was so happy with all of them, and I was sad for Johannes Leppert, who finished P4 and saw his dreams break.
Oh no, I know that feeling well. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
so,
I'm glad you watched it. quick question for you. We were missing quite a few drivers today. Do you have kind of like a background story behind why there were 6 cars missing from the grid today?
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that people actually thought they could race late sign outs, and people then that wanted to replace but didn't have the DLC version of Monza. I think that was a lot of the things. Then people found, oh, I can race. Oh, I don't have the DLC version of Monza. I think that was where a few reserves got caught out too. For the rest, I would say, yeah, there were some people who were just struggling with some commitments in real life.
Fair enough. Just one of those rounds. Fair enough. Thank you, Menno. I'll let you go back to chatting with your friends.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, Alex. Pick one. Last one. Remco loves a long interview session, so.
Should we wait a minute then? Just talk to ourselves.
Let's just talk for a minute and then drink someone. No, go on. Pick. I think we've got to bring Ed Hunter in, haven't we?
Oh yeah,
Probably.
he's won his race. Let's let him talk.
Hello, Ed.
Hello.
How are you?
I have to admit, before the race, I was not in the amazing mood, to put it mildly. But yeah, that has definitely cheered me up. And I won't lie to you, me and my co-owner of the team, Josh, we've had a bit of a falling out recently. So I think I want to dedicate this win not just to Magnus, who drove absolutely superbly, but also to Josh, who I've enjoyed many commentaries with in the past, and as a sort of token of good faith, because this is his team too. So I dedicate the win to him.
Good. I hope you guys figure it out. I know what it's like to fall out with your mates, obviously.
I thought you were about to say, I know it's like to fall out with you, and it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, Toby.
True, but I wasn't going to bring that up.
I'm a very disagreeable man.
No, I'm very, very pleased for you, and it's great to see you get a victory this season. It's your 3rd in GPVWC, first of the season, and obviously it comes from a reverse grid, but you have to play the cards you're dealt with, and Magnus did that today.
Absolutely. I did say after race 1, when Magnus kept going off at Lesmo 2, my Christ, you can't do Lesmo 2 to save your life, Magnus. And he definitely proved me right. I seemed to fire him up a bit in race number 2. There was a bit of a scary moment where we shared the front row, and then Yuho, who's filling in for Joe, but I thought did a really good job, especially in qualifying. He tapped the back into the second chicane of Magnus, and I can imagine exactly what Magnus thought at that moment. So it's good that they weren't in the same voice call for that particular moment. But yeah, Magnus really pulled out. I almost felt like James was doing everything to try and lose the race there, so I have to thank him as well, because he locked up at the first chicane. He seemed not to just run Magnus out of room. He drove incredibly fairly, so it was a fantastic fight. And Magnus weaving a bit at the end, as you say, but I think given how high the stakes were, I almost feel like I would have been angry if he hadn't done everything possible to win that one.
Yeah, I call it as I see it. It's one of those, we only watched it once as well. I don't know how close the car behind was. It was obviously trying to break the slipstream, coming down towards the final corner. Absolutely understand the thought process. It's just whether it was a little bit too much, but it's not for me to decide. I was just saying what I saw. But yeah, for me, Magnus drove a great race and battled with James for a long period in the second half of that race. It was, they were swapping positions every lap, and a deserved victory in the end, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. And yeah, Magnus had been so close a couple of times this season when he got pole in the wet at Canada as well. That was a brilliant drive by him, and he was really strong in the first sort of 5 or 6 rounds of the season, and we've had a lot of bad luck since then. So yeah, it's good to see things go our way, but also Magnus, I think he said it himself, like he had a plan, he executed that plan, and everything sort of fell into place. So Monza is one of those tracks where really if you get a good start in reverse grid, all the chaos happens behind you, you can sort of control things. So yeah, a few rounds left, and given we'd fallen down to 9th in the teams, we really needed that win, to put it mildly. So hopefully we are still somewhat in the mix to at least do as good as we did last season and finish in the top 8, top 7. So yeah, modest goals compared to what we had at the start of the season, but I think once Joe gets back in the saddle, hopefully we can do well. But I think at short notice also, Juho getting 2 points finishes, I'm quite happy with that as well. So on to Mexico, I say.
Absolutely. Absolutely on to Mexico. Thank you, Ed.
No worries.
I'll let you go.
Woohoo!
Oh, good. Well,
That sounds so excited to leave us.
isn't it? Well, there we go. That was a Tuesday. This was Formula Sprint 2. I think ultimately, Alex, one of those upsy downsy races that I can never quite put my finger on whether I enjoyed myself or not. But nevertheless, yeah, there were certainly some good battles and a lot of some rubbish driving, to be honest with you. So pretty standard for FS2, but it seemed a bit worse than usual.
Part for the course. Less chaotic races do lie ahead for GPVWC though. FS1, quite an interesting championship battle. It's not really a battle anymore. It's quite dominant, but
Well, you say that, but the gaps closed quite substantially for Apex to Multiforce, given how bad the round was for Matoush and Pavel for Multiforce. So and Yasser Lahtinen is not that far back. Ultimately, a couple of bad rounds for Micah and Andrzejewski for Multiforce, and he could be right in there. So I would have agreed 100% with you before the Hungary round, but it shows how quickly it can change in these double race sprint events. You know, because you've got your best part of 50 points to play, like 50 odd points to play with. It can go your way.
yeah.
But that's Thursday. Owen Harmon's back, and Amir Oates will be alongside him on Thursday. Next Monday, we're going to Italy again, but this time to Mazzano for the Academy race. And then Tuesday, Super Lights, and Thursday, Super League. Have you kept an eye on Super League and Super Lights much this season, Alex?
No, I
Fair
have
enough.
not.
Well,
I know there's a battle going on in Super League. That's quite interesting. I can't tell you much about it. I just know it's happening.
thanks for your insight.
Go and watch that. Watch all the series. Be
Watch
better
all
than
of it.
me.
Yep. Watch the podcast.
Oh,
Alex
the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, the podcast. Yeah, Alex is working on the Super League model still for next year. We've revealed the basic structure of it, but he's refining the details and promises me that he will have it working in game soon. Hopefully, I want to be able to knock up a couple of liveries if I can. So that'll be fun. And we also have GPVWC Day in mid-November. Do come along, guys. It'll be fun. It's in Liverpool. I'll be there. Alex will be there. I'm hoping Remco, will you be there?
Boo.
He said no, and then followed it with "I don't know yet," which still sounds like a no to me. But yeah, lovely jubbly. I'm going.
Anything else? No, that's it. Oh, yeah. 2 weeks time, we're in Singapore, Mexico. Wait, no. Look at the website. It says Mexico before Italy.
What?
On one of the pages of the website, Mexico
On
was
one of
before
the
Italy.
pages? No, it doesn't.
Yep.
Go to the calendar,
was.
which is where the information is.
Well, you know, Mexico, Singapore, same thing, really. We're there in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Same thing, really.
Yes.
Okay, mate. I'm going. Thanks for joining us. I've been Toby Davis. I've been joined by Alex Foulkes, and thank you to Remco, to Zeeuw for the camera work and for being our silent participant. And we will see you very soon. Until then.
Bye.